This is your Tuesday evening update on flooding along the Red River of the North. And so we're going to dive right into it. So let's see, the flood wave right now has passed Fargo. You can kind of see the river levels are starting to drop now at Fargo after cresting at 35.05 feet. That crested just late last night. And the river is now on its way down. So the flood wave is now moving north. It's now between Fargo and Halstead, Minnesota. You can see there's the level at Halstead right now. Latest observation at 5:30 was 38.4 feet. And if you saw my video yesterday, you would have seen that the river was supposed to crest at 38 feet. And I mentioned that it was probably going to be raised, and it sure was. It's now supposed to crest at 38.8 feet tomorrow. It's still going up, actually. So it's following the forecast pretty well right now, but I would say prepare for a crest between 38.5. Well, it's already almost at 38.5. So I would prepare for a crest around 39 feet, just based on the rise rate right now. So that's where the flood wave is now. So the crest is moving towards Halstead, should reach it tomorrow. Going further downstream, Thompson Bridge, you can see the rise rates have slowed compared to where it was before, but it's up to 56.06 feet, so that's pretty high. That's actually very high. Very dramatic rises there. And then Grand Forks, here you go. Grand Forks is creeping closer and closer to major flood stage. It's expected to reach the major flood stage right here, 45.9 feet. That's essentially major flood stage by 1 o'clock p.m. tomorrow. The river has been rising steadily and is pretty much spot on with the forecast here. It's supposed to still crest around 48 feet. This is on April the 12th, and then it'll kind of hold itself there for a little while into the 13th. So that is coming on to this weekend, Friday and a Saturday. So 48 feet still predicted at Grand Forks. And again, still steadily coming up. And so yeah, 48 feet is well within the dike level protection. The levee system in the Grand Forks and East Grand Forks area is good for a height up to 60 feet, which would well surpass even the 97 flood height. So this is well within the levee system's boundaries. So that's pretty good for them. Oslo gauge, check that out right there. You can see the river kind of shot up last night, likely due to some ice jamming. Still rising. The rise rate now is a lot slower than it was. It's only coming up a couple inches every few hours now. That's kind of what's expected to continue for the next several days. It is supposed to reach a height of approximately 38 feet. So that's even higher than our crest forecast last night. It was at 37.5, and they raised another half a foot. So that is just now 0.4 feet below the record, 38 feet, which according to the historic crest, 38 feet was reached in 1997. It was also reached in 2011, and the record height was reached in 2009. So we're looking at heights very similar to our historic flood years that have occurred along the Red River, which, like I said, 2009, 2011, and 1997. Those are the big flood years for the Red River in the north. So we're looking at very similar heights at Oslo. So really, the Oslo area is probably going to see the highest the highest flooding this spring. Drayton continues to go up as well. The rise rate has slowed at this location, potentially due to some of the colder weather that has come into the area. So that is interesting. It's still going up, but it is kind of undercutting the forecast at the moment. Then at Pembina, Pembina's kind of pretty much right on. Might be undercutting just a little bit, but still no crest at Pembina or Drayton for the next 7 days, but reaching a stage of 50.5 feet by next week at Pembina. Another thing that I'm concerned about here, you can see these colors on here, means more precipitation. We've got a nice big blizzard warning and a winter storm watch for the southern part of the Red River Valley. So heavy snow is coming for the Red River. And here's the latest snow forecast from the Weather Service in Grand Forks. By the way, there's an image of Grand Forks today. That's what the river looks like. That's the Sorley Bridge in the background, and it's been closed due to high water. But you can see the water's very, very high there already. It's not quite at major flood stage yet, but it is approaching more and more. So, anyways, midweek winter storm. So, unfortunately, this winter storm has been shifting more to the north, and so these heavy snowfall totals are now much farther north into the Red River Valley. Actually, these heavy totals get even into the parts of the Central Valley. So this heavy snowfall is definitely going to have some implications to the flooding, especially to the south for places basically from Fargo down to Wahpeton. Probably will result in renewed rises along the Red River. And if we go back to our hydro page, you can see they've already kind of factored in the snowfall and future snowmelt back into the forecast for the Wahpeton gauge. You can see how Wahpeton has been slowly coming down. It's leveled off now, but it is expected to start trickling back up. And then you can see it's supposed to reach moderate flood stage again by next week as this heavy snow right here begins to melt and once again enter the river system. So it's very low confidence in terms of how much of an impact it will have on the flooding that's ongoing, but 8 to 12 inches is currently the forecast for the Wahpeton area. So that would certainly add quite a bit of water. So the speed of that snow melt will ultimately play a role here. If 8 to 12 inches of snow were to melt slowly, it would definitely still rise, but it wouldn't be too dramatic. But if that melted all at once, we could definitely see another significant crest at Wahpeton. As for Fargo, the river will definitely be on its way down. Once the snow melts, it will certainly cause the river to at least level off. You can see also the Hickson gauge. You can see where it levels off there at the end of the forecast. So definitely expecting a continuous slow fall at Fargo. But as the snow, depending on how much falls to the south and also over the Fargo area itself, I do think that this rise or this fall will probably be halted for a time, and actually a second rise could certainly happen. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. So impacts all the way up to the Central Valley is possible. Probably will not have too much of an impact to the north, but it's a little early to kind of make a call on that just yet. This has been shifting more and more to the north, so the more north this goes, the more potential impacts for the Red River and potential future water levels. So this has been a flood update video. We'll see you next time.